Chennedy Carter ended up getting into an interview with an influencer and basically giving her side of the story when it came to the Caitlin Clark shove-over moment.
Chennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about the Caitlin Clark incident, but her words might end up doing even more damage to her career. She brushed off the hard foul, calling it just a nice little tap, and claiming it's simply part of the game. However, when every WNBA team is overlooking a player with her kind of scoring ability, it points to deeper issues. In this video, we dive into how repeated patterns, like past locker room troubles and social media controversies, can completely derail a career. And in this latest interview, Carter's version of events doesn't exactly match what everyone saw happen on the court.
Nothing actually illegal has taken place, to my knowledge, involving Chennedy Carter. Yeah, that was a really ugly foul, and I understand it was bordering on what looked like assault. We all remember the vicious hip check. I also will not forget Angel Reese jumping up off the bench.
The showdown between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky was highly anticipated, and from the very first tip-off, the energy was electric with fans locked in. But midway through the game, Chennedy Carter stunned everyone by delivering a hard elbow to Caitlin Clark. The unexpected move instantly caught fire online, sparking a flood of backlash across social media and the sports world.
Chennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench. And Clark.
It wasn't just the hit that caught fans off guard. It was what came next. Chennedy Carter stayed completely silent, offering no apology, no explanation, and showing no remorse during or after the game. That silence had consequences. The league took notice, and so did team executives. In a league where chemistry and reputation are everything, the incident damaged Carter's image. Since then, teams have been wary about adding her to their rosters.
And I am shocked that, for example, the expansion team, the Valkyries, haven't signed her. The Las Vegas Aces. I mean, hell, I look at the Chicago Sky and wonder, what? Connecticut Sun would be another one? There are teams right now that are very devoid of offensive talent, and she's one of them.
Chennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about the shove on Caitlin Clark, and her response might leave you stunned. In a recent interview, Carter tried to downplay the incident, calling it just a small tap in the heat of competition. But let's be real, the footage tells a completely different story, and fans aren't falling for it.
You watch every game, every single game, to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and it's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's why I said they're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little tap, I'm here, not to harm you.
That excuse doesn't stand, because the cameras caught every second of it. Chennedy Carter clearly approached Caitlin Clark while the ball wasn't even in play. There was no basketball reason behind it. First, Carter said something to Clark, and the cameras easily picked up her words. Then came the shove, clear, deliberate, and unprovoked. Clark wasn't even looking her way, making the hit completely blindsiding. Her stunned reaction said it all. This wasn't just part of the game. Even in a tough, physical league like the WNBA, this went too far. Interview 6.
If you want to push somebody, you're going to full force
But people really made it a crazy big deal. I've seen the clip.
Yeah.
But I'm not crazy deep in the WNBA world, but in the WNBA world, they dragged it like crazy.
I mean, that happens, man. It's one of those things. I'm a great player. She's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's going to have their views on it. But my personal view is, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player, and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season. You know what I'm saying? So,
as just normal trash talk that happens during a game. But there's a big difference between exchanging words during live play and walking up to someone when the action is stopped, throwing an insult, and then shoving them. The first is part of the competition. The second crosses the line, and it's the kind of behavior the league simply can't ignore.
That's a little different than somebody talking trash in your face. Just because you might see other players do it and they give an excuse of why they did it in the NBA.
This distinction is crucial because women's basketball is fighting hard for respect. The WNBA is on the rise, with viewership reaching new heights as more fans tune in. Much of that excitement is driven by players like Clark, who are elevating the league's profile. Carter's actions set back that momentum and tarnished the image of a league striving to build credibility and expand its fan base.
Nah, just be a good sportsman and play within the game. That's all. Bust your opponent, but within the game. Don't get the physical punching and bowing. I can't stand.
The consequences have been significant. Despite her scoring talent, no WNBA team has signed Chennedy Carter since her release by the Sky. It's obvious this is a player who crossed a line but won't own up to it. Instead of taking responsibility, she's downplaying the incident, effectively gaslighting the fans who witnessed it with their own eyes.
So just give her like a little, like, I'm here. Like, I don't think it was, what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like, I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who like pushed LeBron out of bounds, like said, man, I was mad because like we couldn't stop him. So I'm just like, it's like one of those things, like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing. It's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and like it's just one of those things. But like, yeah, it's kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control,
and then the media takes whatever narrative they want.
This disconnect between Carter's account and the undeniable evidence is why WNBA front offices are steering clear. Teams are questioning whether they want a player who refuses to acknowledge clear mistakes or who views an unprovoked confrontation as just a minor tap. So far, the answer has been no.
That I don't think the Caitlin Clark moment is the reason she's not in the WNBA. I do remember a moment, it was like tweeting.
While teams are distancing themselves because of that on-court incident, what's going on with Carter's phone might be even more damaging to her career. Her online presence reveals a pattern of behavior that has general managers questioning whether they want her in their locker rooms.
And basically, ESPN had her as the 25th player in the league or something like that. And I think Angel was up like the number 12. She was up high. And basically, Chennedy had a problem not with the Angel restatement, but she was talking about the point guard.
Remember that ESPN ranking where Angel Reese was placed higher than Carter? Most players would use that as fuel, maybe put it on their vision board or let their performance do the talking. But not Carter. She took to social media to vent, airing her frustrations publicly and personally. What could have been a simple sports media ranking turned into a perceived slight. Her reaction raised a red flag for WNBA executives, showing a player who struggles with jealousy and can't separate personal emotions from professional evaluations.
She was like, how are my stats are top 5 or top 10, something like that, but y'all had me ranked at 25.
While established WNBA stars like Aya Wilson and Breanna Stewart share posts about team goals, community efforts, or training highlights, Carter got caught up in ranking drama. At a time when she was battling for a spot in the league's most competitive environment, her focus appeared to be misplaced.
And then I think a tweet that was kind of related to that came out, and they were like, look, the reason the Sky are looking like they can make the playoffs is because of Chennedy Carter and the refs. That's what somebody tweeted, and she ended up liking that post. That could be tying into the fact that it might be a little chaos or drama being created within the organization.
The reaction to the rankings was only the beginning. Carter liked a post that suggested she was the one saving her team. A professional player publicly backed content that implied her teammates weren't doing their part, while she was the one carrying the load. Imagine being in that locker room after seeing your teammate essentially throw you under the bus online. Basketball is all about teamwork, and front offices seek players who elevate their teammates, not those who act like they're the lone hero of a struggling group.
Liking that tweet, she didn't go to the game. She didn't play in the game, right? Now, I don't know. They did show hospital pictures and things like that. But yeah, man, a lot of people felt like that was a scapegoat. A lot of people felt like, oh, she kept saying she had COVID.
Carter's online behavior sent a clear signal to general managers. She seemed more focused on personal recognition than on team success. In a league where building a championship culture is essential, that me-first mindset raises serious concerns. While respected veterans might briefly acknowledge rankings, they quickly redirect attention to team goals, understanding that personal accolades follow collective success. Today's WNBA is more than just basketball. Record viewership and growing sponsor interest mean players are public figures representing entire franchises. Every post, like, and comment influences their professional image. So when GMs see Carter using social media to air frustrations instead of fostering positivity, it raises red flags. They begin to question her ability to put the team first, maintain professionalism under pressure, and handle criticism without taking it personally.
Because after that tweet and her liking that tweet, she didn't go to the game. She didn't play in the game, right? Now, I don't know. They did show hospital pictures and things like that. But yeah, man, a lot of people felt like that was the scapegoat.
Carter's talent is undeniable. Her scoring ability speaks for itself. But in professional sports, talent alone doesn't cut it. Her digital missteps have turned her social media into a cautionary tale, illustrating how online behavior can derail even the most promising careers before they ever get off the ground.
And honestly, she ended up slapping Marina Mabrey when they first played each other after she left their team. So that could be a thing too, if you want to go off of her actions.
While Carter's talent might get her through the door, what happens behind closed doors is why teams are showing her the exit. The locker room incident with Camila Cardoso wasn't just a minor disagreement blown out of proportion. It was a clear indication of a deeper, troubling pattern. WNBA teams are now prioritizing team harmony over individual talent when making roster decisions.
History, right? And then we remember what we was hearing in the locker room when they lost. I forgot what game that was, but they ended up losing, and it was commotion in the back. And Camila Cardoso was saying, hey, close the door.
What exactly went down between Carter and Cardoso? Multiple witnesses saw the confrontation, which quickly spiraled beyond a typical teammate disagreement. The situation got so intense that others had to step in and separate them before it escalated further. Unlike the usual fiery exchanges you might find in NBA or NFL locker rooms that settle quickly, this incident crossed lines that professional teams consider damaging to team chemistry. What makes it even more alarming is that it happened in front of several people, meaning Carter showed no restraint, even with an audience watching.
And then it also made me think about the tweet where people feel like she was coming at Angel Reese as far as saying it's so important to make all of your shots.
The Cardoso incident is just a glimpse into a much larger pattern of conflicts that have followed Carter throughout her career. When she talks about being a competitive player in interviews, she conveniently ignores the history of disruption she's caused in multiple locker rooms. The evidence speaks for itself. Players have actually left teams because of Carter. As one source put it, it's the reason Michaela wanted to leave. It's the reason Marina Mabrey wanted to leave. These are professional athletes making significant career choices to escape the environment Carter creates. That kind of toxic presence drives teammates away.
Twice at the end of the game, she didn't necessarily want to pass her the ball. So yeah, I just feel like it's a lot more into it than one moment. I think it was actually some organization issues, maybe some chemistry problems, some drama in the locker room. It's a reason Michaela wanted to leave, right? It's a reason Marina Mabrey.
What's especially telling is how sources describe the situation. It's more than just a single moment or some locker room drama. They don't highlight one specific incident. The locker room became a pressure cooker that eventually exploded, creating deep rifts within the team. So why haven't we heard more about these issues? WNBA teams go to great lengths to keep internal conflicts out of the public eye. What leaks to social media is just the surface. Behind closed doors, countless other incidents stay hidden, known only to those involved.
Nothing was clear. Excuses were made. This is desperate damage control from someone with a pattern of behavior. It was still a cheap shot and unwarranted, first of all. Secondly, we made a bigger deal when Angel Reese celebrated it. Finally, this wasn't even the main reason no one wants to sign Chennedy Carter. Exactly. This is how.
When general managers consider adding a player, they look at more than just stats. They're contacting former coaches and teammates, investigating how a player handles adversity and behaves when the cameras aren't rolling. For Carter, these conversations are raising significant concerns. Her scoring ability is elite, and her talent is unquestionable, but WNBA teams are focused on building cohesive units capable of working together through a long, grueling season. One player who disrupts that chemistry can jeopardize the entire team's chances.
She is too talented. I don't know if you guys saw what she did in China. she was freaking ridiculous over there. And, I mean, she's 17, 18, 19 points a game, I think, every night for some team.
Teams are sending a clear message. They'd rather have less talent and more harmony than risk the disruption she brings. It's a tough, but honest professional assessment.
In my opinion, I hated what she did to Caitlin Clark last year, but I think she should be on a team. One more shot. Let's do one more shot.
And here's the most surprising part. In her latest interview, Chennedy Carter actually says she thrives on the hate, claiming she feeds off it. Those are her exact words. I love it though. I love when it gets to it, so you can see like you feed off of what people say. I love the hate. I love it. This speaks volumes. WNBA teams understand that talent alone doesn't win championships. Culture does. When a player embraces controversy instead of taking accountability, it affects team dynamics. The real question is, do you prioritize raw talent over team chemistry? In basketball, as in life, how you handle criticism will ultimately define your future.